Hello everyone. Today's topic is micro-teaching. Micro-teaching is a topic which is related to all pedagogies. So, I'm going to start with the topic micro-teaching. Origin and development of micro-teaching. The idea of micro-teaching is evolved by D.W. Allen and his group for the first time at Stanford University in USA in 1963. The team of experts was assigned to develop a testing and evaluation tools to measure the attainment of teaching behavior or activities called as teaching skills. Now, the meaning and definition of micro-teaching. Micro-teaching is a procedure in which a student teacher practices teaching with a reduced number of pupils in a reduced period of time with emphasis on a narrow and specific teaching skill. The micro-teaching is a process which helps to develop effective teaching skills in the pupil teachers to make them efficient teachers. Definition of micro-teaching. D.W. Allen, Dwight Allen. Micro-teaching is a scaled-down teaching encounter in class size and time. And Professor L.C. Singh, who is also known as the father of micro-teaching in India, also provided a very important definition of micro-teaching, that micro-teaching is a scaled-down teaching encounter in which a teacher teaches a small unit to a group of pupils for a small period of 5 to 20 minutes. Micro-teaching is a process in which 5 to 10 number of students grouped for mastering over a skill and to present their content from 5 to 10 minutes on a particular skill. Now, the steps or the cycle of micro-teaching. The micro-teaching cycle is of 36 minutes, which is a start with the planning. And planning is the process which the student has to do before starting the process, for which no time duration is provided. After that, whatever the planning is done by the pupil teacher, they start teaching for 6 minutes. Then, feedback is provided to the pupil teacher, that is again for 6 minutes. If there are some shortcomings or improvisation is required, then pupil teacher is asked to replan his or her content. And for that, 12 minutes is provided to them. Then after replanning, the pupil teacher has to reteach the same skill for 6 minutes, and the feedback is provided by the rest of other pupil teacher and the supervisor, for which 6 minutes is again required. So in this manner, the cycle is keep on continuing till the student attain mastery over a particular skill. There are few objectives of micro-teaching. First, to enable teacher trainees to learn and assimilate new teaching skills under controlled condition. To enable teacher trainees to master a number of teaching skills. To enable teacher trainees to gain confidence in teaching. Now, the characteristics of micro-teaching. Micro-teaching is highly practical and practical-oriented teaching, which helps a teacher to attain mastery over various skills before entering into the real situation. Micro-teaching is a highly individualized training device, as It provides the opportunity to each and every learner to attain mastery over the skill. Next is micro-teaching is an experiment in the field of teacher education, which has been incorporated in the practice teaching schedule. It is a student teaching skill training technique and not a teaching technique or method. It is a procedure in which a pupil teacher practice teaching within a small group of 5 to 10 students. It is a skill-based approach to teacher training. It is a technique of presenting small portion of the lesson because the focus is on the skill rather than on the content. Micro teaching is micro in the sense that it is scaled down the complexities of real teaching. The class size is reduced, the time duration is reduced, and it is also focused on a particular skill. Practicing one skill at a time. Reducing the class size to 5 to 10 people. Reducing the duration of lesson to 5 to 10 minutes. Limiting the content to a single concept, which I have discussed. There are certain merits of micro teaching, and what these merits are: the first merit is it helps to develop and master important teaching skills. There are various teaching skills like explanation skill, set induction skill, questioning skill, probing question skill, stimulus variation skill, reinforcement skill, blackboard skill. These are the various skills which a teacher needs to be mastered over before entering into the real classroom teaching. And that is the intact part of the B.Ed program. It helps to accomplish specific teacher competencies like confidence, creativity, presentation of the content, and so on. It caters the need of individual differences in the teacher training. Every child has its own pace of learning, and every individual is different from the another one. So, this micro teaching caters that need of individual difference too. It is more effective in modifying teachers' behavior. It is an individualized training technique because every individual got the opportunity to learn these skills. It employs a real teaching situation for developing skills, as although it is an artificial situation, but try to modify that situation like a real classroom situation, so students can overcome with those problems which they will going to face when they enter into the real classroom teaching. It reduces the complexity of teaching process as it is a scale down teaching. It is a scale down in terms of class, duration, content, and time. It deeper knowledge regarding the art of teaching, and no loss of real students because it is a training process and all the B.Ed students has to play a role of student, teacher, and supervisor. So they practice it beforehand and they gain the confidence and also learn how to present the content in the real classroom. So when they entered into the real classrooms, they do not commit such sort of mistakes which may create some loss to the real students. Now there are some limitations of micro teaching, and what these limitations are: it is skill oriented, content not emphasized. A large number of trainees cannot be given the opportunity for reteaching and replanning. It is because if in a B.Ed program 100 students are there and they are bifurcated in a group on the basis of their teaching pedagogies, then in college, let's say an example of social science. If a social science teacher has to deal with these 30 or more than 30 students, then it is very difficult for her to give the opportunities of reteaching and replanning to each and every student for different skills. So it is time consuming also. It requires special classroom settings as per the need of individual skills. It covers only a few specific skills because there is a list of number of skills which were developed by Dwight Allen, but it is not at all feasible and not possible for the teachers, trainee teachers, to learn each and every skill. It deviates from normal classroom teaching because here teacher plays a role of supervisor rather than the instructor. It may raise administrative problem while arranging micro lessons because students has to bifurcate in the groups on the basis of their pedagogies. So whatever the number of pedagogies B.Ed program is having and the number of students, those who are holding different pedagogies, needs to provide different rooms for them. Need of expert skill trainer and scope for biasness is also there. Now, what are the various skills of micro teaching? As I have told in the previous slide about the various micro teaching skills. So the main 6 skills I am presenting here, which we are practicing in our college or in our program, basically with all the students. First is induction skill, then skill of questioning and the probing question, skill of explanation, skill of stimulus variation, skill of blackboard writing, and skill of reinforcement. These all skills basically trained the trainee teacher in using all these skills in a way that how to introduce the chapter in introduction skill, skill of questioning and probing question, which is related to what sort of questions we have to frame and to ask with the students to check their understanding and application part, how to explain the content so the students can understand it well. Stimulus variation is related to the gestures, the body language, and so on, so the students can understand the content well. Skill of blackboard writing, that how the blackboard used by the teacher in an efficient manner so the content can be presented well. And the skill of reinforcement, whatever the content is to be explained by the teacher when he or she used to ask the questions from the various students, as per their responses, teacher needs to reinforce them. So the students will keep on giving responses as they are motivated. They feel motivated when they got the appropriate reinforcement. Thank you.